I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. As always, we start our meetings with opening prayer. Mr. Hewitt.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for allowing us to gather here this evening. We thank you for the beautiful weather and the rain that we've been having. We ask that you be with our county, and thank you for the blessings that you've blessed our county with. Be with all those who are sick and not feeling well, and just touch them. We have a lot of people that's out sick, and be with us as we're doing this meeting tonight. Let us make the best decisions that we can, and do the best possible. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Join me in the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
See if I found anything before we get to it tonight. Going to call the forum.
All right. Good evening, everyone. So let me go ahead and call the roll. Make sure we have a quorum, if I might. So we will start with Ms. Bechtold.
Here.
Ms. Cookenbuck.
Here.
Mr. Cox.
Present.
Thank you. Mr. Booth.
Here.
And Mr. Turman.
Present.
All right. Everyone is here to some capacity. And Ms. Jerry, you have a full count, as they say in baseball.
All right. Next is the approval of the agenda.
And if I might take a moment of staff privilege, you will see we did make a change since this was originally distributed to add an extra session, reason for closed session, which is the third one listed there, A8, consultation with legal counsel employed or retained by a public body regarding specific legal matters. And that has to do with election provisions and opioid settlement. Those are both very timely, so we went ahead and added those with the chairman's permission. And we added a little bit more explanation about something that was already on the agenda for you all.
Okay. Anyone else got anything? I'll take a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved with the changes?
Second.
Motion second, call the roll.
All right. On the motion to approve the updated agenda, Ms. Cookenbook,
Yes.
Mr. Booth,
Yes.
Ms. Bechtold,
Yes.
Mr. Cox,
Yes.
and Mr. Turman.
Yes.
All right, your agenda is approved.
All right. Next is the approval of the disbursements. I think we got about 3 different ones here.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. Page 7. Under the 60029 outdoor classroom project. Was part of that money raised by the citizens or donated, or is that all county expense reflected in this?
So if I might follow up on Mr. Booth's question related to a disbursement related to some supplies and things purchased for the outdoor classroom at the recreation park.
Right.
And so what that relates to is those are all purchases that we made, but under the grant. And so all those receipts have been submitted for reimbursement.
Okay.
Yes. Now, I will say there was thousands upon thousands of volunteer hours, students, several volunteer organizations, but in terms of cash, the only cash that's in there will be brought back to the county from the grant.
So all of that qualifies under the reimbursement.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's where I was going. Thank you.
Anyone else? Take a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion is second. Call the roll.
All right. On the motion to approve all the disbursements is listed on all of the disbursement items you received in your packet. Ms. Cookenbook,
Yes.
Mr. Cox,
Yes.
Ms. Bechtold,
Yes.
Mr. Booth,
Yes.
and Mr. Turman.
Yes.
All right, those are approved, and I'll start signing.
Okay. Alrighty. It is the intent that all persons attending a meeting of the board, regardless of handicap and conditions, get this hay on my throat, regardless of handicap conditions, shall have an opportunity to participate. If any person present requires any special assistance, please let the board know in order that arrangements can be made. During the public comment, limit your comments to 4 minutes. State your name, district you're from. I was asked on the last meeting how I wanted y'all to behave. Pretty simple, common courtesy. You know, remember the golden rule. Treat the other people like you want to be treated. Don't be butting in. Don't be talking over them. If it's somebody with an opposing view, give them the same respect that you respect or expect from them. We have a sign-up sheet. We didn't come.
All right, so I currently have 3 people that are signed up, and then we also have 3 letters that were received in the office for us to read aloud at the meeting. So Jan Cartwright is the first person on the list.
Hello, I'm Jane Cartwright, and I'm from Locust Grove District. I have lived there for 23 years with my husband, Lynn, and our 4 daughters. I taught at Czech School for 27 years, and I love my community, and I'm very, very loyal and proud of it. I'd like to thank you for this opportunity. My husband and I, we cannot speak for our entire committee that we meet with, but we don't have a problem with Floyd Fest Day people. We have a problem with Floyd Fest night people and their behavior. We are termed as Ground Zero. I live at 5952 Floyd Highway North. The main stage of Floyd Fest is 100 feet off my back property line. I affirm the 2 committees that in past meetings that Kelly Yates has proposed. I think that we need to do that for our ordinances on what we pass out to people who are possibly coming to live here. They need to know what's going on, and it needs to be accurate. Mine and my husband's main 2 wishes is that we have a noise ordinance, same as Galax. And they have theirs because of the Fiddlers Convention, Sunday through Thursday, 10 o'clock p.m., Friday through Saturday, 12 p.m. I would like to be able to sleep during Floyd Fest, and my animals will like that as well. And I have goats and chickens and a dog and a cat, and hopefully by then pigs and a couple of steers. Please allow our committee member, Kelly Yates, to be on the agenda so we can see some sympathy and empathy from y'all as a board, because we rely on you. Y'all are there for us. We rely on you very much. I would personally like Mr. McBroom to put in a 6-foot privacy fence and maintain it for the property owners on their property. That would save our property lines from miscreants who are doing things at night at Floyd Fest that they shouldn't be doing. And it would also help with the noise. There's 2 other main concerns, and I'm almost done. We're concerned about either declining property values because we live next to this establishment, or if values go up, then we'll have to pay more taxes because we live next to a venue that we had nothing to do with. This affects 100 households. I'm accepting that it's coming. There are some ways to make it better. Thanks again.
The next person just lists Dan LG.
Should be a V there.
Okay, thank you.
Dan Vest, Locust Grove District. Floyd County supervisors and the citizens of Floyd County is who I want to address tonight. Here's a word that's applicable to at least two of this year's issues here in Floyd. Conundrum. You have either been given a conundrum, or it's of your own accord. Here are the two issues I'm going to list in specifics. Issue one, here in this past spring or winter, you argued publicly why nothing on your level can be done to help the residents of Simpson's area in check. And even now, they're being subjected to explosions and gunfire on the weekends. Other counties help their citizens through enforceable noise ordinances. Why can't Floyd? Issue two. Now you are silent on the greater Czech community being changed forever through the shoehorning of a year-round festival park in the middle of a residential agricultural area. 200 acres with 700 proposed parking spaces on it, attendance in excess of 15,000 people, and music allowed to 2 o'clock in the morning each night the festival's there. And there's going to be more than one. Now that's country living, isn't it? If you're not following what a conundrum is, bottom line, you can't help the first issue without going against the second issue. That's the conundrum. It appears that even the church next door to the festival park doesn't even concern you and will be collateral damage as a result of your inaction. Are you not aware of the message you're sending being silent? I can think of two. First message, anything goes in Floyd if you have enough money. And second message, county residents are secondary. In closing, I would like to know exactly what a community's way of life is worth to Floyd County government. I'm sure all the other, page stuck together, other areas of the county would like to know as well. After all, now listen up to all Floyd County citizens. If it can happen in Czech, no part of Floyd is safe. Silence is a position. Thank you very much.
All right, Mr. Chair, the next person that is signed up and is currently the last person signed up is Kelly Yates in Locust Grove.
Good evening. My name is Kelly Yates, and I live in the Locust Grove District. As the supervisors know, and as my fellow citizens know, I remain strongly opposed to the proposed relocation of Floyd Fest to a property that the owners have announced will be called Festival Park. 2 weeks ago, I asked this board to appoint 2 independent committees. The first to address the required 10-year review and enforcement of the comprehensive plan, and the second to review the amusements and entertainments ordinance, which has been deemed ambiguous. I indicated that I would ask for time on the agenda, which I did in writing last week. And I received confirmation that the request was received and told it was being sent to the chairman. To date, I have not received a response, and I'm obviously not included on tonight's agenda. Additionally, 2 weeks ago, the chairman himself declared this board to be neutral. This is an interesting statement because it seems to me that a neutral board concerned with representing all of its citizens would welcome citizen involvement in government and would further encourage independent committees to deliberate important issues impacting the future of the county. A neutral board, it would seem to me, would jump at the opportunity to allow individuals independent from the board, encompassing all sides of the issues, to collaborate and find solutions. This is what I continue to ask for, an opportunity to collaborate for the betterment of the entire county. Again, that should be appealing to a neutral board as a way to ensure transparency in government. Since I have not been allowed an opportunity on the agenda, let me further clarify that the two committees should first present their findings and recommendations in a public hearing so that all citizens have an opportunity for input. And after a public hearing and further review, the committee should present their findings to the board and be allowed participation in the approval process of those recommendations and changes. I respectfully ask again for these committees to be formed immediately. Time is of the essence. If the board wants to talk the talk of being neutral, it's now time to walk the walk. Thank you.
Chair, is there anyone else? Those are the three people who have signed up.
I'd like to say something, please.
If
Come up to the mic.
yeah, if you would, if you're speaking, please go ahead and approach the mic so that makes it easier for us to be able to keep minutes and things. So
Thank you. Robert Wolson from Locust Grove, and the name is spelled Woolson. It was misspelled in the paper last week. Joe, at the beginning of the meeting, you asked us to be respectful to y'all. I think we all have been. Linda and Jerry continue to stare down at whatever it is they're working on. Everyone else is paying attention.
I'm sorry.
I am not, no.
No, I apologize.
He stood there and laughed.
Happened.
Yeah,
I sit down and I make notes of everything everybody speaks so
Okay.
that I can review them later. If that upsets you, I'm sorry. It does, but that's my process. People in courthouse districts never questioned it. I'm sorry it upsets you, but that's your problem, not mine.
Does it upset anyone else?
hey, listen, you addressed the board. And I'm gonna tell you right now, you stood there last week, or 2 weeks ago, lied about Linda. When you
What
said
did I
that
say
she
that was
did not
incorrect?
live in this district.
I said when I looked up her address, it always came up Montgomery County.
Let me talk, or you can sit down. I'm the chairman. It's my rules, my house. No, okay. You sit there, you lied about Linda. You bragged about violating the law by trying to pace Mr. Cox.
It was hard. He was driving fast.
I don't know why you think that you've got the authority to do that. But you do not have law enforcement training. You don't know anything about pacing. You have no right to enforce the law. And you have no right to rely on a certain member of the board, because that means that our voter registrar committed a felony by certifying her to be able to run.
Are you
So,
through?
if you don't stand there and bash us and tell lies, we don't want to hear it. If you got something constructive to say, say it.
Last week, I pointed out that whenever I looked up Linda's address, it always came out as Montgomery County. I pointed out I don't understand why she's up there. If there's a mistake with her address, it should be addressed by someone.
You need to check the other addresses around them. We've got a lot in Willis that's in Carroll County.
Okay.
Willis.
I also checked the address at 107 Dobbins Hollow, where some friends used to live, and it said Floyd. Yet 539 came up Montgomery. I just asked a question. If you can
Yeah,
find out
You made a statement that she was illegally serving on the board.
I asked why she's up there, and that's my question.
Because she's
And
an elected official.
I just pointed out that Levi was driving fast, and he's
And
supposed to
you
be setting
had
an
no
example.
right to pace it.
And I do have law enforcement background, by the way. You don't know anything about me. Yes, sir.
State Route 750 enters Route 8.
No.
Well, from right there to the Montgomery County line, those people's addresses are listed as Reiner, which is Montgomery County, which is based on where their post office is. The mail comes from the post office, but they are Floyd County citizens. So just going by what the address is, it's a simple thing. Instead of making an accusation, a simple phone call to the voter registrar's office would have answered your question.
Well, see, you just did. Thank you. I appreciate it. That's all I was asking for last week.
No.
Well, I'm sorry, I didn't understand it that way, and you didn't come across that way. You might have intended it, but you didn't come across that way.
Well, I apologize for the way I came across, but it was a legitimate question. And I don't think if you review the tape, you'll ever find a spot where I said she lives in Montgomery County. Review the tape. Thank you, Jerry. I don't mean any harm with you. I was just pointing out you were driving a little fast. I like to drive fast too. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, if you would like us to move to reading the 3 letters that we received?
Go ahead and read the letters and we will time them. And if you go over 4 minutes, we'll stop.
This letter is, it was dated July 13th, 2022. I had a telephone conversation from the person who sent the letter, which is Miss Judy T. Hubbard. Dear board members, I own property located at 476 Timberline Road, Copper Hill, Virginia, which joins property acquired by Floyd Fest. I am deeply troubled by the results of Floyd Fest coming into this area. This farmland has been in my family for over 200 years, me being the 4th generation to own and live on the property. Proudly, my son will be the 5th generation to possess it. Down through all those years, the family has been able to live in peaceful existence with neighbors. The proposals put forth by owners, investors of Floyd Fest will forever end all our rights to a peaceful coexistence with others. With the proposed traffic pattern, we as landowners will be denied ordinary going and coming, plus the ability of fire, rescue, and even police passage for protection of our property and our health needs. Just as a reminder, nearly every landowner on this road is over the age of 65. Another concern is the pollution of land with trash and pollution of the water. There is a stream of water which runs from the Floyd Fest property onto my property. With all the concerns with pollution in the nation these days, how will we have a guarantee of safe water on our properties downstream from that property? Why is this neighborhood being discarded by the county government in this matter? Do we as human beings not have enough importance over the almighty dollar? I plead with each of you to deny the encroachment of our God-given right to a private, peaceful livelihood. Sincerely, Judy T. Hubbard. The next letter, dated August 22nd, came via email from Mary Ann Jackson. Dear members of the Floyd County Board of Supervisors, my name is Mary Ann Jackson and I live on Timberline Road in the Locust Grove District. I was unable to attend the board meeting on Tuesday, August 9th, 2022, but I reviewed the video recording of the meeting. During the public comment period, Kelly Yates requested that independent committees be formed to review the Floyd County Comprehensive Plan and to revise the Floyd County Amusements and Entertainments Ordinance. She also requested she be given time on the agenda at the next meeting to formally discuss the formation of these committees. Unfortunately, I do not see that it is on the agenda for the next meeting on August 23rd, 2022. I wholeheartedly support Kelly's request and strongly encourage the board to reconsider adding it to the agenda. With massive changes being proposed to the use of farmland in Floyd County, it is important that an independent group examine the effects these changes may have on the county and its citizens. I give permission for my communication to be read out loud. And continue. And thirdly, this was received August 22nd, again via email, and this is from Sean Jackson. To the members of the Floyd County Board of Supervisors, my name is Sean Jackson. I live on Timberline Road in the Locust Grove District. During the public comment period during your meeting on 9 August 22, Kelly Yates requested that independent committees be formed to review the Floyd County Comprehensive Plan and to revise the Floyd County Amusement and Entertainment Ordinance. I enthusiastically support Ms. Yates' request. I note as well that at your meeting on August 9th, Ms. Yates requested that she be given time on the agenda at your next meeting to formally discuss the formation of these committees. Unfortunately, I do not see Ms. Yates on the agenda for your meeting on August 23rd, 2022. Why is that? Further, the board chair has felt the need to state publicly that the Board of Supervisors is neutral on the matter of turning 200 acres of farmland of significance into what is effectively a large parking lot. The fact that Ms. Yates' request has not been honored appears to indicate your words and actions are at variance. I would suggest you resolve that variance to avoid any further erosion to your credibility. Given the significance of the changes being proposed regarding the use of farmland in Floyd County, it is vital that an independent group examine the effects these changes may have on the county and its citizens. Failure to do so will have significant short and long-term consequences. And again, gave permission to read that aloud during the meeting. Thank you.
That's all you got. Go ahead.
I had not planned to make any comments, but I would appreciate it if I could have just a few moments to support our Board of Supervisors. I think you all do a great job. I also have a farm in Locust Grove with a pilot address.
Please address the board.
With a pilot address. And if you'll look up Pilot, it happens to be in Montgomery County. But that farm is in Floyd County. It's because the Postal Service runs their letter carriers out of the Pilot Post Office. And that's why it may seem that some people who live in Floyd County actually get their mail from a Montgomery County address. So I want to support our supervisors that they all live in Floyd County. I know where they live, and I want to make sure that's really clear. The other thing I would like to be able to say is about a lot of the things that are being addressed at Floyd Fest. This board has considered zoning ordinances for many years, for decades, and they've been rejected because most citizens in Floyd don't want to be told what to do with their land. They want to be able to make that decision themselves. Now, somebody wants to do something other than farming. And I think that we ought to seriously consider whether we want zoning or not. I, for one, don't want zoning. But it sounds like there's some people here that do want zoning. And so I think that we should be very seriously consider, what do we want? Do we want zoning or do we not want zoning? That really is the question that I think needs to be put before the board. Thank you.
State your name.
Sorry. I'm Breck Avalar from Little River.
No, we limited everybody to 4 minutes. I'm sorry. So with that, I will declare the public comment period over. And now it's board time. Yep.
All right.
Let me cool off a little bit.
You won't after this.
Yep.
Y'all know me. I'm Kaylinda Bechtold, Indian Valley District, Christian Constitutional Conservative. I stand for the people's rights, everybody. I'm going to read the amendment of the Bill of Rights, Amendment 14. All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of the citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny any person within its jurisdiction equal protection of laws. It's pretty simple. You want zoning? You want to open that Pandora's box? Because right now you don't want Floyd Fest. The next board members might not want your chickens or your pigs or your tent revival. You don't want to open that Pandora's door. Our personal property rights are paramount to our liberty and our freedom and our happiness. And that's what makes Floyd, Floyd. Thank you. Thank you, Joe.
A lot of times I have a hard time articulating what I say and people misunderstand what I say. Other times people just choose not to listen. If y'all don't listen, or you don't carry on a conversation back there. That's what we was talking about.
You got the floor.
I can't concentrate if I got a conversation going on back there. Okay? All right. That's the reason lots of times everything gets misconstrued when it's said. When I said this board was neutral, I said this board is neutral. It was in response of a letter that was being read that was against what y'all are against, or supporting what y'all are against. As long as I'm chairman, we'll listen to both sides. Period. Another chairman can do whatever they want to. But I'm going to give everybody the right to speak. When we leave this board and go out that door, our personal opinions are ours. It's not the board's. Some of us may agree with y'all, but we're not going to sit here and say that. I don't know why you expect us to help y'all when you abuse us, put us down, run us down, accuse us of doing stuff, when the only thing we're trying to do is being fair and honest with all the citizens. Ms. Yates is not on the agenda because when I set the agenda, we got a lot of stuff to cover tonight. We didn't have time to put her on the agenda. What she needs to do, if she wants to do it, she needs to outline how she wants these committees set up. Who's going to appoint the committees? Who's going to be on the committees? Give us something to work with so that we can, and present it to us. You can give it to Dr. Millsap, she can forward it to us. We have time to look it over, think about it. Then when she's on the agenda, we have questions for her, and we'll be able to answer a lot of the questions. But we just can't go out and start setting up committees, ever skever, you know. We got rules to follow. We got laws to follow. We need to check with our attorney and see if we can legally set up these committees. It takes time. I'm not going to be bullied. So, you know, like I say, I'll give anybody a chance to talk if they're honest and respectful in what they say, because that's what y'all expect from us. Anyone else got anything to say?
I think I'm good tonight. I'm good tonight.
Okay, all right. Under old business, we have 2 or 3 closed sessions.
No problem. Yes, Mr. Chair, so we have 3 items to discuss to go into closed session, and I will read those off and then see if you'd like to entertain a motion. So under 2.2, 3711A3, discussion or consideration of the acquisition of real property for a public purpose or of the disposition of publicly held real property where discussion in an open meeting would adversely affect the bargaining position or negotiation of the public body. And I apologize, the little tagline, I reversed, so that's the shape facilities. And then when we get to A29, 2.2, 3711A29, discussion of the award of a public contract involving the expenditure of public funds including interviews of bidders or offers and discussion of the terms or scope of such contract, where discussion in open session would adversely affect the bargaining position or negotiating strategy of the public bodies. That is related to equipment, so correction. And then 2.2, 3711, AA, consultation with legal counsel employed or retained by a public body regarding specific legal matters, and that has to do with election provisions and the opioid settlement.
I so move. I so move.
I'll second.
All right, so.
Sorry.
All right, it sounds like we have a motion from Mr. Booth and a second from Ms. Cookenbook. So if I might, Ms. Chair?
Go ahead.
Mr. Booth?
Yes.
Ms. Cookenbook?
Yes.
Ms. Bechtold?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
And Mr. Terman.
Yes.
All right, we will move to closed session. Thank you.
I'll print it.
So, find your objects.
Your letter from your goose. You know what? That's why I got that letter from that gal. Thank you.
Almost like it was.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, we're ready, sorry.
Okay. All right, we'll be back in session. I'll take a motion to come out of closed session.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, call row.
All right, on the motion to come out of closed session, Mr. Cox,
Yes.
Ms. Cookenbook,
Yes.
Ms. Bechtold.
Yes.
All right, Mr. Booth,
Yes.
and Mr. Terman.
Yes.
All right, we are out of closed session.
I'll take a certification motion. We only discussed those things within closed session for.
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion second, call row.
Okay. On the motion to certify that we only discussed the items listed for closed session, Mr. Booth.
Yes.
Mr. Cox.
Yes.
Ms. Bechtold.
Yes.
Ms. Cookenbook.
Yes.
And Mr. Terman.
Yes.
All right, you are back into regular session and certified. Thank you.
You ready to make your motion?
She
Sure.
go ahead and get
All right.
all the parameters so that we got it
All right.
correct.
All right, so let's see. We are looking for a motion to allow the staff to move forward with the intent to award the radio contract and notify the winning vendor and continue discussions and negotiations with them. I think that covers what we have to do.
Authorize appropriate
It's,
signature.
thank you. Appropriate signatures too, as well.
I so move.
Go ahead.
I'll second.
Motion is second. Any discussion?
I
Call
would-
row.
Can
Sorry.
I,
Go
can I
ahead.
just real quick? This is something that's been going on for quite some time. There's a committee put together and I personally want to thank those committee members for all their time and effort and that they put into this that got us the information we needed and that was able to get us in a position to award a bid.
Yeah, I'll just, yes, say the same. I just, this was a lot of work and I want to especially recognize our emergency management coordinator, Kevin Sowers, for all of his work on this. It's been very time consuming, but it's a much needed upgrade to a system and it will keep our first responders and sheriff deputies much safer, so.
And I'd like to just follow up with that with Kevin Sowers, that he's worked very, very hard and been very, very diligent to look out for the best financial interest of the county and while at the same time keeping our EMS, everybody very safe. So I believe it is very prudent. It is a prudent purchase.
And we need to also remember Justin Coleman.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Because Justin started this thing a couple years before he left the board. Him and Jerry and Sheriff and you and Kevin and all of you. And it's been a lot of time consuming headache.
Yeah.
But, okay.
And I guess I should go ahead and say who the winner is.
Yeah.
So, so the vote is on the intent to award and signatures and negotiations, continued negotiation discussions with Motorola. So, that's what we're going for. All right. Motorola. Sorry, thank you. All right. So to go ahead and all right. So on the motion to authorize staff to move forward with a notice of intent to award to Motorola for the Floyd County radio system and continue discussions, negotiations, and authorize appropriate signatures for staff. Mr. Booth,
Yes.
Ms. Cookenbook,
Yes.
Ms. Bechtold,
Yes.
Mr. Cox,
Yes.
and Mr. Terman.
Yes.
All right. Congratulations to y'all. I know you have been working on that as a group for a very long time. So thank you for that.
And number C.
All right. That was big. That was big. So the next item is also a pretty sizable shift for us, which is EMS billing RFP approval. As you recall from some previous meetings, as you all know, Myra, who has been doing our EMS billing for a very long time and doing a terrific job, is a one-man band for a very challenging job. And she has been very committed and worked very hard for the county on this. But she has decided she would like to retire. We managed to keep her around a little bit longer so we could go through this process. And she had a lot to contribute to the RFP that you all received in your packet. And also, that's another one that she and Kevin, the EMS folks, and Kim, in addition to myself, worked on a great deal over the last several months. So it made the formatting a little challenging with all of those things, but we got it worked out. And so as you see in your packet, that is, we have a draft, and I did make one change that was requested by you all, one of you all, which is to, again, reinforce that we have compassionate billing in Floyd. We put that in, I think, one more time, and then specific language related to if the contractor is reaching out to someone, whether it's via phone, letter, whatever, that they need to reiterate that is the county's position.
And I thank you for putting that in there. Can we, when this is typed up, I don't know if we want to use red, but can we use a different color to make it stand out so it is noticeable?
Sure.
So that.
Yeah, I just had it in red so you all would see
Right.
that was the change.
In the final color, I don't care if it's blue, pink, whatever.
Okay.
So that nobody can say, well, I looked at every page, I didn't see such a thing.
Bold it.
And the reason for that, early on in the process, when I was on the board before, we went through a billing process. And the people that worked for that billing company worked on commission. And they would call people up. And the only reason we found out, well, some of our board members, we started getting telephone calls from citizens. Well, I didn't think it was supposed to this way. You know, I got one from one lady that she took her medicine money that month and made a payment, sent a payment in. And that was never our intent. And it was never our intent with this group.
Right.
And that's why I asked for that to specifically be put back in there, and whether it's italicized, different color, whatever, so that whatever company bids up, they can't say they didn't see it.
Sure.
You're gonna take care of the,
I fixed the extra R, and
I
then
must not have updated.
okay, and then the other questions. There were some questions raised about the reporting requirements, and I think, ma'am, what you and I discussed is covered. Kim and I came back and talked about, and just to clarify for everyone else, Ms. Cookenbook wanted to make sure that there was plenty of oversight continuing by the county staff, that we're just not saying, here you go, but that we will continue to get regular reports and very detailed about how things are going and all of that every month.
At least for a time period or something.
Yes, and if I might also to clarify for the public that the RFP does not in any way change the county's current compassionate billing position. It doesn't make any changes other than how it is that we go about collecting instead of having a person that does this. This would be a third party. So just so everybody's aware. It's time for something. Okay. So with that is my explanation.
I'm ready for a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to allow this RFP to go out with appropriate signatures. Anything else?
I'll second.
Motion is second. Any discussion?
I do want to just reiterate how much time our county staff spent on this and how important it is. And also recognize Myra Grimm for all of the work as you have done, but from, how how dedicated she's been all these years, and
And for staying on a little.
and for staying on a little bit. Yeah, that's dedication and loyalty, and I truly appreciate that, and I applaud everybody for working so hard.
And to Jerry's point, there's a lot of people out here in the county, when they get a bill like that, they just pay it. They don't. So he needs, like Jerry said, needs to be in there where that they see it, and these people don't get a bill for it. Yeah.
Well, we had a situation here recently with a fellow that, he misunderstood. Basically, it was one of those things was sent out that, somewhere on it said this is not a bill, but this was not covered by insurance. And he was automatically, but luckily working with Myra and we got it sorted out.
Yeah, we don't want to lose that.
But the billing did come from our offices.
Thank you.
All right, read call roll.
All right, so on the motion to move forward with releasing the RFP for EMS billing and appropriate signatures, Ms. Bechtold?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Ms. Cookenbook?
Yes.
Mr. Booth?
Yes.
And Mr. Turman?
Yes.
All right, we will do our best to get it out tomorrow, if at all possible. So thank you for that. Whew, that's big. Those are two big things for us, so thank you. The next item, if I might, Ms. Chair, so this is just a cleanup item. And so as you recall, when we were doing the budget and the last time that Dr. Wheeler came and talked, he provided this. This is a little marked up, but he provided this that had numbers that he noted as preliminary at that time from the Commonwealth. And those numbers are, as you'll see from here, $61,431 more than what was actually in your budget document. That addition and an appropriate expenditure didn't get subsumed in your budget. And so we thought it was best, since it's your budget document, even though it's following the Commonwealth, and it is exactly what they're supposed to do and how much they're supposed to get, that it doesn't seem that we should be, even though it's a technical correction, that it really needs to be approved by you all. So that's why it's before you.
Definitely.
So if I might, so the particular actions are, the first one is the county administrative staff request a revenue increase adjustment to be made to the 22-23 Floyd County school budget year of $61,431. This addition allows their county budget to reflect the final and actual revenues received from the Commonwealth. And that is an action item.
I'd make that motion if you're ready.
And I'll second.
Okay.
Certainly want to second money from the Commonwealth.
Right.
Don't want to turn it away, yeah, that's for sure.
All right. On, if I might, Mr. Chair, on the action to authorize a revenue increase adjustment to be made to the 2022-23 Floyd County school budget of $61,431. Mr. Booth?
Yes.
Ms. Cookenbook?
Yes.
All right. Ms. Bechtold?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
And Mr. Turman?
Yes.
All right, thank you. That is approved. Then if I might, Ms. Chair, the second part is the expenditure adjustment. And so the numbers that you see there are actually, those total to way more than $61,000. Those are the new line items, and those are the ones that were included in this document. But again, in an abundance of making sure we make the technical correction, those are all outlined there.
Different motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any other discussion? Call roll.
All right. On the motion to our request that $61,431 in adjustments be made to the 2022-23 school budget expenditures, Ms. Cookenbook?
Yes.
Ms. Bechtold?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Booth?
Yes.
And Mr. Turman?
Yes.
All right, thank you for that. Dr. Wheeler will be happy. New business, we had originally had We originally had scheduled Lisa Baker and Missy Keith, the Commissioner of Revenue and the Treasurer, to come talk to us about personal property tax. Unfortunately, there is illness about, and so they aren't here tonight.
Did each one of them get a copy of the papers they gave us?
I got them right here.
Ben's Denton, if you want to, we'll wait till our day meeting, give y'all time to digest this.
Yeah, thank you.
And,
Will it be too late?
This is,
we got plenty of time.
this is cleaned up. So the chairman and I met with Missy, and Lisa was on the phone and gave us some initial numbers. And then then Missy went back and cleaned it up a little bit. So hopefully that's a little bit easier to read. It has some of the percentages that you all had requested. And then we also, when we started seeing the size of the numbers, asked for some additional options for you all.
This is easier than the one I had where I scribbled all of it.
Yes. Yeah, Missy was very diligent about getting us something that was cleaned up. So appreciate it. She was on it and had it to us within a day. So appreciate her help with that.
And as bad as Missy felt it, not Missy, but Lisa felt that day, and she was still willing to get on the phone and, you know.
Yeah, and since I see there's questions, I think they would be willing. We, of course, will be happy to answer phone calls, and I'm sure that at least one of the two will right now, and the second, I'm sure, will shortly.
These reflect the total personal property or vehicle only? Because,
I
Thank you.
This is just,
well, it doesn't say, that's why I was
I
asking.
think it's just vehicles.
Yeah, so the first line there that has the blue highlight at the bottom,
Uh-huh.
then that's the amount associated with everything that is in that category. So it doesn't include mobile homes, but it does include some other things like boats and all of that.
See, that's
Yeah.
where we need to,
And I will note one of the conversation items that we had when we were talking and as we followed up is you will note that number is substantially higher than what is in your budget. And essentially that is the starting point. So that's the total value as currently assessed times the tax rate, 100%. And no one saying, oh, my vehicle is actually registered in a different state, different county. And so we went back and looked at comparing the numbers for the previous fiscal year. And so if you look on the second sheet, that blue item where it says 4.5 million, the amount that we brought in actually was almost exactly $1 million less than that.
that
So,
was actually brought in.
yes, so it's actually much closer to 3.5 as
So-
opposed to the
So
4.5.
that's a projected, that 4.5 is a projected number, not an actual number.
Correct. The actual
Okay.
number for FY '21 is going to
About
come
three.
in about 3.5. Yes, it's projected at 100%. And
Right.
of course, it's not
What'd
going
you
to
say
end
it
up
will
being.
come in at?
So for 2021, we'll come in at about 3.5 million, and that's
Oh,
what's in
maybe
your
less.
budget.
Okay,
This reflects 4.5.
yeah,
So that's a big,
100%.
that's a big, yeah. And I will say, and again, in both of the ladies' defense, their actual collection rate is actually pretty high for this type of county.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
like 97.
Yes, it's between 97 and 98. What a lot of this is people coming in and saying, I don't have that vehicle anymore, or I gave that to my child who lives in North Carolina. So that's where a lot of that adjustment comes in. So that is not $1 million not collected. It's just, it's inaccurate to $1 million. Because that's where they have to start.
Excuse me.
Sorry.
So with those being projected numbers over here, then when we get to these percentages, the dollar amounts in the color there is based on projected numbers, not the actual number. Am I correct?
Yeah, when we did your budget,
Right.
our projections were based on
Actual.
previous actual.
Right.
So we didn't start with this. We started with where we were before because we've been found to be the more
Recorded.
conservative.
That's recorded data.
pass.
And yes.
And I know y'all,
Right.
all right, so we're going on projected numbers. Is it, I hate to ask, but I like dealing with actual numbers. Is there any way between now and our next meeting that some of these pages could be done with the actual numbers, and then you would know actually what 35% is or 40% or?
I don't know. I mean, we will ask them, but I don't know that we can do that because
Don't
that
know that.
level of granularity is not available in the Bright system.
You understand what I'm saying?
I do. I'm gonna have to sit at home with my calculator.
It's ugly headed.
Yeah,
So, and part of that, of course, has to do too with the cap. And so that
Right.
plays into it as well. So
well, and also within our personal property is delinquencies paid, other things like that that come into what that total amount is. So there's a lot of real numbers out there that I like to consider when we're talking about this.
Mhm.
Well, and some of y'all have reflected it too, so.
Yeah.
And to Mr. Booth's point, yeah, when we print something out of Bright on where we are with FY 21, there's a big number and then there's about 5 years of delinquents with obviously decreasing amounts, but there is money associated with it.
Make a
Sorry, I didn't
recommendation.
mean-
That's all right.
Didn't mean to delay us.
That's all right. So we can skip B, right?
We can skip B. Yep, we can
Yeah.
skip B. We need to table that discussion. Previously, if I might move into C, you all had asked us for a list of kind of what are some of the utility numbers and some of those kind of things. So Kim's kind of come up with a list. We didn't necessarily print it out for you, but we can kind of walk through what they are and see what your thoughts are, if that's something you want to do tonight or whatever your wish is.
So it would include, what we already spoke about, which was Skyline, Truist, Carter, those are the bonds and loans that are the automatics, it's twice a year. Every month, they don't change, the only thing that changes is amortization. The other, utilities would include, but not limited to Appalachian Citizen, Clark Gas and Oil, Fix, those.
Water,
Sorry?
water and sewer.
Water and sewer, correct, so those, even in a grandiose anomaly, we'd still have to, and then, you know what I mean, come back and correct it as necessary. And then the other ones would be liabilities. The liabilities would be from payroll deductions, which would include Anthem, Guardian, New York Life, the Cross Blue Shield. So those are the ones that are looking for those, and the timeliness of them is sometimes urgent, that they don't fall in line with the 2 meetings. And I scramble to, ensure that we get them, on time.
This just keeps us from incurring a bunch of late
That's
fees.
correct.
That was my reason for asking for all
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Especially when we talk late fees with regards to loans and bonds, we don't want to talk about.
No.
Okay, so.
And you don't, late fee, I don't think APCO would cut our power off, but I wouldn't push them either.
That's correct, and nor do we want that, I mean, that's not something that, I strive for, just the opposite, to be 100% clean and timely.
Well,
And ensure that.
and our,
we take care of
our ratings, all that comes into play.
Yeah.
It's not just how much money's in the bank or if we pay our stuff on, our loans on time. It's that whole total package.
But in general, we've never run into a problem.
But we've also had a lot of scrambling that had to be done in between, and, whether it's consensus or running special ones in that manner. And
But not with utilities. Have we ever?
utility, I mean, I'm just throwing that, I would be asked to throw that in there in the event that something were to come. No, the likelihood is not, if we get ahead of it and we get them. The other thing is a lot of places are asking for us to switch to
Yeah,
ACH.
right,
So they're sending out bills later than
Right.
they normally would with almost a week or 2 week turnaround.
yeah, like a 10 days sometimes,
10
yeah.
days, and
right.
that's what we're also finding is happening more and more because people are pushing to be paperless.
Yep.
And they want everybody to sign up, not it, but they want most companies vendor to vendor to be an ACH.
Right.
So, and. we're
And the
not-
ones that still use the mailing system, unfortunately, our mailing system,
Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah.
things go to Greensboro and disappear.
yeah,
Yes.
And it may be weeks before it gets back. I was just trying to help the office staff and Kurt. We don't have to do any more than we did. I just thought that would help staff. It would help everybody. We could, and the staff still, if they get a bill that they think something's not right, they don't have to pay it.
right.
We're just authorizing them, they have the authority if everything's in line. If something comes up and they say, well, wait a minute, they look back, last month, the bill on this building for power was $2,000, this month's at $6,000.
Right,
I wouldn't expect them to pay it, even though we told them they could, till they find out what.
And we still do the due diligence of going through every disbursement, going through every check, doing the comparisons, making sure everything lines up, so there's no discrepancy, and then there's a third set of eyes.
right. We would still see them?
Oh, you get the disbursement, that would
Right.
not, there would be no changes, and it would still have to be an overall approval. So that would not change.
Yes, and just to clarify that, so you would still be getting your disbursement list and you would be voting on it, but some of those would have potentially, if they were time sensitive, would have already gone.
Yeah,
But
I
they
mean, I
would
have
be
no problem with the
recurring ones.
loans. And the bonds and the other, because that, we have found ourselves over the last couple of years in that kind of bit of a pickle.
And I'll take a motion to approve.
We done discussing.
Yes,
I
nobody
don't
else
know, or
is
if
moving.
you want to continue a discussion later, then that's fine too. We were just asking you to bring y'all in.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion and second. Call the roll.
Okay.
Can I ask a question? I would like to see the list.
Okay.
You can make an overall list of what's been approved to, right?
Sure. Yeah. Want to do that now,
You're supposed to get that asked you. You want that tonight or?
or do you want to take the vote next meeting? Be
Um,
careful.
Yeah, I'd probably like it at the next meeting, just to look at it.
Okay,
I don't know that I feel comfortable voting without seeing the list, though.
fair enough.
Just table it for now.
Would that be okay?
It's up to you. You made the most. Do you want to withdraw it?
I'll withdraw my motion and table this till the next meeting. And
I'd just
a
like to
list.
see the list.
I'll withdraw my second.
Okay. Okay, and we'll give you a very specific list and you all can go X, check, no, whatever
No
you're comfortable
reflection
with.
on
Right.
staff. No reflection on staff at all. I would like to see it.
Yes, no
Thank you.
problem, no problem at all. Yeah, and to be fair, I think this has come up too. As some of you know, we've had some very challenging problems in the last couple of months printing anything that's
Right.
not a normal run check. And
Right.
so I think that's part of where we're trying to get to as well. So we'll get you a
Understood.
list and
Yeah.
and continue the conversation. So
appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Well,
Yes.
when that federal money gets here, we're going to start taking care of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
So under the new business, I want to take Jerry's one more thing.
Okay.
I had a gentleman send me an email the other day, and he was inquiring about the county sponsoring a shredder ever so often for people to bring their
Yeah.
papers and shred them. I know Farm
Farm Bureau
Bureau
did.
does it, but that's usually members only.
Members only, but if you'll get in touch with Janet down at the Farm Bureau office, I mean, as far as I know, we contract with these people. She could put you on, at least get you pointed in the right direction. her or Sherry, either one.
But you hadn't done it in a
Oh, yeah,
while.
we've been doing it.
I know, but when was I brought a bunch of
It
stuff
was
over.
last October,
Yeah, so is it gonna be this October?
as far as I know,
Good.
You know,
I'll get
if
my,
we approve it.
if we,
But we do that as a,
I know, courtesy
we
to
do it
members.
and limit it pretty much to membership.
Right.
Kind of something to give back and it's been pretty popular.
I use it. I use it.
I think if we approve this, like if we could set it up quarterly,
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That would be nice.
and maybe out here or some parking lot, because I know a lot of people still uses burn barrels,
Yeah,
but they don't want to. So,
yeah. 55-gallon drums.
And it's,
that would be a way to do it, and saves a lot of stuff going into
and
landfill.
it's really, when you think about it, if you're doing it as a service, it's not really that expensive.
No, not at all.
Now, sometimes scheduling with that outfit doesn't work out because they go around a lot of different
Yeah, they
places.
do.
We'll look into that.
Okay.
That was a good one, Martha. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Well, y'all I think are just down to me unless somebody else has one more.
So,
He said he took mine, so I won't bring anything up.
A few more things, but they'll be brief to this. Wanted to first, a couple of things related to the recreation department. Future park and recreation departments. So we have been the recipient of both a bush hog and a pull behind and a mower, two different pieces of equipment that have been donated to the county.
really?
So to help us keep up the trails and some of our other facilities, yes.
Lovely.
We need to be sure
Used
to do
equipment
it.
or new equipment?
One is new and one is used.
Not that I'm complaining, but.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
We definitely need to do a big thank you letter.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So the
Absolutely.
mower is used. It's something that just.
Broken.
They have too much vertical mowing and you can't use a mower for it.
So is this the zero turn?
And then, I think that is, yeah, and then there's also a bush hog that's been ordered on our behalf.
Wow.
So that's very, very cool. So, yeah, we will get some letters out to them. And take it
Yes.
in there.
And we have the tractor to pull it behind and,
Yep.
yeah,
We do. So I'll
Great.
get you the next letters if you want.
Yes.
Find the next meeting to get that close.
please.
And there are also some of the same folks that put all that extra effort in on the outdoor classroom. we were talking.
Wonderful.
So, we ended up on the outdoor classroom. We had committed to, we were going to put $12,000 worth of volunteer and staff time into it. And when I totaled it up, we were actually over $15,000 worth of
Ah.
volunteer time from this community. People who wanted the nice little exercise trail and all that. So, I have a nice presentation of all the signs and that if you haven't been through there. Thank you to Jane Cuniff who wrote all of the
Yep.
language and she and her husband did a lot to put a lot of this.
They did.
So we really appreciate that. The last thing related to recreation is, it turns out we're still kind of working through some of the carryovers, but wanted to let you know that the recreation department actually generated $29,149 over their budget revenue. And that's by doing some of those extra events.
Very good.
So I wanted to let you all know, because he got the message he was supposed to be doing.
Right, that's great.
So on a couple of other things, let's see, myself in September, myself and our tourism person and then also Andrew from the town will be attending and manning a booth at the International Bluegrass Festival in Raleigh.
Nice.
To be an advocate for Floyd. And so we're excited about that. And we actually have a space that is inside the convention center. But we are participating as part of a larger group that are coming from the Commonwealth. So we're excited about trying to reach out to that new group of people. Also related to tourism, we're starting to do some work to kind of re-engage things around the farm trail for agritourism. And in fact,
So that group's restarting, and you all did not get to meet her, but next meeting you will meet her, our new graduate intern that you all allowed us to hire from Virginia Tech, who is a farm girl from further east. She is going to also be helping on that in addition to some of the other projects we had, because she just lit up when I mentioned it. So I think she'll be really good at helping us work through getting that ignited and making sure that we have the tourism that is so wonderful in the town continues in the town, but extends out further. So that's been exciting.
Tied recreation and this together. That was the two grant workshops for our new intern and for Jacob. Is that correct?
No, the two grant workshops that you saw are in there is not for our intern.
Oh.
Those are for Jacob, though. You were correct about that. And the second is one of our EMS employees.
Oh, excellent.
Yes, so it's part of our leadership team at EMS that they're going to go ahead and try to generate some additional funds, because that compassionate billing is wonderful and a great policy decision on y'all's part, but it does cost us money. So it would be nice if some other organizations would help support that. This morning, we had Floyd Serving Seniors event that was run by the Extension Service, but supported by the Agency on Aging, the county, and also the Sheriff's Office. And that was very successful. We had 55 people in attendance.
Wow.
Got a lot of
Excellent.
resource information out related to all the different things that are going on. And I'm going to brag on our EMS folks real quick, if I might. And on your desk, you saw this piece of paper.
Yeah.
So that was available to everyone about how you can do your best job to help Floyd County EMS when they come to help you. I thought there were some very interesting tips in there. And also, she handed out sheets like this that we're encouraging folks to print off, and we'll be having available here and other places that you can put all of your emergency medical information, keep on your refrigerator, keep near your front door. So if you call or someone calls, it's all available right there, and they know where to look for it and what it's supposed to look like. So they're being very, very proactive about trying.
Has all that went out yet or still in development?
It has, well, she handed some out today, but we haven't done like a mass anything yet.
Can I make one suggestion?
Yes, sir.
On the list of reminders to do, excuse me, somewhat kind of a reminder statement to remind people that if they're a veteran, please let our staff know, or let the emergency staff know. That way they can let the hospital know. And then what happens at that point is, once the person's stabilized, then they can contact the VA. The VA will say, we'll come and get them, or you go ahead and admit them. Because if they go through the process and leave the VA out, then the billing goes to the VA, they will not pay it.
Yes, I mean, you and I have
We
discussed this
talked about
before.
it.
Yes.
If we could have something that,
Okay, we'll add on here.
please let our staff know, or let the EMS, or that you are a veteran, or a widow of a veteran, or qualify for veteran benefits, that you need to let them know.
Yeah.
And we need to make sure that our employees know to alert the staff. I tried to find that form, but it's gone, and
Right.
I actually made a call to the VA, and the person I talked to had no idea what I was talking about, so I just dropped it. But, we used to have a form in every vehicle, and
Yeah.
But if we could include that would help our veterans.
Sure.
Because I know several that didn't happen to. The veteran passed away, the widow was left with thousands and thousands of dollars of medical bills that the VA refused to pay.
Yes.
Just because they were left out of the system. So if we could, it's great. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong. It's wonderful what's being done.
Sure.
But if we could include that for our veterans, it would really help them.
Okay, we will add that to the bottom here. Are you a veteran or qualifying widow of a veteran?
Please
And they can check that out.
Let the
We'll put it on the
EMS know.
test. Yes. Yes, so then it'll be on this, the form that we hope folks will make available. And
Or
so,
maybe on both,
yeah,
just as a
one of their other requests, if I might, is, and it's made a lot of sense when they said it, is if you call EMS and you have pets, please put them up. Your pet might love you, but they may not love someone else coming to take care of you.
To Jerry's point on that form that EMS fills out when they get there, there's always somebody filling it out. Could they put a question or highlight area asked about veterans?
Yeah, are you a veteran?
Yeah.
Well, and we'll do that. We'll ask them about that and then go ahead and put this on the forms
yeah.
that they'll be handing out.
That's where you got double covered. Yes. And
I know it was a problem years ago. We got it fixed, then
Yeah,
faces changed, and then the problem came back. And if we can, I mean,
Yeah.
that's little enough to do for our veterans, I
yes,
think.
yes, absolutely. We will do that. We will do that. Is that it? Okay, we'll add that on
Thank
here.
you.
You're welcome. I'll just pass this around so you can, it's a save the date for aging in place. Thank you, Mr. Cox. That's something that's also being sponsored by Extension,
every day.
sometimes just in this meeting. And then the other couple of things that are on here, of course, is I attended the VACO County Officials Summit, and that was fortunately in Roanoke this year.
I wasn't either.
So it was, I would encourage you all, especially if it's close again, to consider attending that event if your schedule allows. It included presentations by the commissioner from the Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Services, which turned into a presentation that talked a lot about them working with law enforcement and how to deal with some of the challenges our sheriff's office sees quite a bit. The Secretary of Agriculture and Forestry also spoke, and the Deputy Secretary of Education. And I would, as a side note, do maybe a shout out to our school system here. She shared some numbers about the impact of counties that did not start bringing their children back quite as quickly, and put whatever your political views are aside, the numbers of kids who were able to get back to the classroom more were substantially better on end of year testing. In many cases, double the amount of kids that were entirely at home. Obviously, there's exceptions to that, but just a shout out to them for doing a good job. The Floyd County numbers look pretty good.
Absolutely.
And then also an hour presentation from the president and CEO of the Virginia Economic Development Partnership, which is someone both chairman and I have met with in different occasions, and continues to work very, very closely with us. Astonishingly helpful given the size of Floyd County in the greater scheme of things. So some of that was really, really quite helpful, and I encourage you to do that.
Yeah, that summit is amazing, and it sounds like it was great this year. Jerry and I have attended it on numerous occasions. Yeah, I was sorry I was away at the time, but thought I might be able to get back, but
Closest has been in years.
I know.
Right next door, and I couldn't.
I know. I mean, Henry County wasn't too far the last time.
Well,
Down in
I went to
Martinsville.
one in Stafford County here a while
Yeah,
back.
right,
so,
right, the
you
one
know,
before that.
That's
right.
halfway across the state, and then when it's in the next door,
Yeah,
I
right.
wasn't able to.
Anyway, thank you for going though. I
Yes.
really appreciate that.
Yes, it was very interesting. I sat at a table with some of your counterparts from some of the down east counties, I think I would say, some of which were similar in size, and made me feel much better about our challenges. We'll put it that way. They are dealing with a lot of stuff.
If you like the rest of it, you found out they have the same problems we do. It's just their dollar amount was much bigger.
Yes, that was exactly the difference. And then finally, two kind of real positive things I wanted to mention to you all. Onward, our Regional Economic Development Group has been going through their strategic planning effort. Some of you all have participated in some of those meetings. And so I have the slides from the presentation to the board, but there were a lot of the comments that were made in Floyd were taken into account and included, and actually an additional goal was added to try to make sure that they were being responsive to all the counties in our region.
Very good.
Not just the largest ones. And by the way, they were very, very excited and talked endlessly about their visit to Crenshaw. So they were apparently, the secretary and commissioner and everyone was blown away. So it was good. And my final thing, and I gotta give Miss Kim a lot of credit for this, to getting this all together. So we have the final listing for the summer of our ACE students and how much work they did and who they did it for. And so it is a variety of EMS and the schools, the fire department, but also Flower Power, Angels in the Attic, the Junebug Center, all kinds of groups, and a lot of the Rhett folks.
Can you put that in our correspondence or somehow put that?
We probably can't put the names. We can probably just put the other columns that say where and hours.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, and so the part that I wanted to make sure you all knew is, so we had 45 students that worked through the program this summer, and they volunteered 1,795 hours. So almost a
795 hours. Wow.
that was donated to nonprofits and county entities by some of the folks that are in the ACE program. So thank you.
That's super great.
Yep,
That was one of the best things y'all ever started.
that's right. And a
I hear
lot of
more
those-
positive things in the community about that
Yep,
than anything.
yep.
I
And I
still,
have to give a shout out to Chairman Turman for being,
I've had grandparents thank me that's
Yep.
raising their grandchildren,
Mm-hmm.
say they wouldn't have got to go to college if you hadn't done that.
and many of them are
That's-
first generation college students, so it's wonderful.
So on that note, that's the best place to end.
There you go.
Yeah, so what a great thing.
Because you got no correspondence other than what you've already read.
I think there's some other things that are in your correspondence file, if you had questions about them, but most of, they're not, public comment.
Right.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Other things,
Yeah.
different
Don't worry, I'll
nonprofits.
I'm just loading up.
Okay.
Right.
All right, with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
On the motion to adjourn, Mr. Booth,
Yes.
Bechtold,
Yes.
Mr. Cox,
Yes.
Ms. Cookenberg,
Yes.
and Mr.
Yes,
I'm not rushed.
but I still got work to do.
My